friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. Today is the start of a new series, I guess you could say, on my channel. I'm calling it Shelf Spotlight. It is not original. I'm sure that many other creators have done something similar on their channels. Maybe they called it something different, but what I'm going to do basically is take a different topic and just show you the books on my shelves that match that topic. It might be kind of an author spotlight or a type of book spotlight. Many of you have asked for specific things like clean romances or Christian fiction, World War II fiction that I have. I'm going to be doing a Jane Austen spotlight as I come to August, but today what I'm doing is big books. And when I say big books, I'm talking about books that have 600 pages or more. I may do a big books take 2 where I talk about books from 500 to 600 pages because I have a stack of at least 10 of just that number range. But today I'm starting at 600 and going up to the biggest books that are on my shelves. I thought this would be a fun way to take a look at my shelves since I do have so many books and talk about different ones that I own. So I'm just going to jump right in because I have about 20 something books here that are 600 pages or more, which is crazy. I have a lot of big books, and big books are a little bit intimidating. I do enjoy them, and I've read some of them and others I haven't, but let me jump right in. I'm literally going from 601 all the way up to my biggest book, and you'll have to wait to see what that one is. I would love to have you subscribe if you haven't already. If this is a series that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and subscribe because you'll be seeing more of these coming from me in the future. But the first book is 601 pages, and I just read it in April, and that is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Spoiler alert for my April TBR, or maybe my April TBR is going up first. I'm not sure. Not TBR. Wrap up. Maybe my wrap up is going up first. I'm not sure. But I did not love this as much as everyone else said. It was 601 hard pages. I did not enjoy this book. There were sections that I really did enjoy. Well, you'll have to wait till the wrap up to see what I ended up rating it and a little bit more of my reasoning. But yeah, I didn't love this as much as I was hoping to. So it was a bit of a disappointment for me. But yeah, 601, that's kicking us off with our 600 books. Another book that I plan on reading this year, it's one of the 5 classics that I hope to read in 2019. That is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. It feels like much more than 618 pages, but I'm kind of glad that it's not. So maybe it'll be a pretty quick read. I'm hoping that this does not fall into the East of Eden trap and be a big disappointment. People have said that it's a pretty easy to read classic. I loved the movie ages ago when I watched it, but I've never read the book, and I'm really looking forward to it this year. Another book that I hope to finish this year, actually, is the third in a series, and I still have to read the second, so maybe I'll plan to read the second this year. It's out on my series shelf, but this is A Conjuring of Light, which is the third book in V.E. Schwab's Shades of Magic trilogy. In this series, in this trilogy, there are multiple Londons, and there are 4 different Londons, I believe, and each London has a different degree of magic, and there are very few people who have the ability to travel between Londons, and in these books we follow Kell, is that his name? Kell, who has the ability to travel between, and he brings objects back and forth, which you're really not supposed to do. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing on with this series, but this one has 621 pages. It's a chunker. Thankfully, the second book is not quite as big. It didn't make it into this list. Next in the 600s is this one comes in at 627, and I did read it. I think I've read it twice now. I did read it last year in 2017, or 2018, excuse me, in January with a group of people from BookTube. This is Outlander, obviously, by Diana Gabaldon. I would like to continue with this series. I really enjoyed it. It's like historical fiction slash science fiction because there's some time travel. There's like a portal. This woman goes back into the 1700s and during the Jacobite Rebellion in Scotland. It was very graphic at times, but I do really enjoy the story, and I am going to continue this series. Some people really didn't like it. I just want to put that out there. Some people in the group actually DNF'd it, but it is very popular. I don't think I need to talk about it too much. Finally, in the 600s is the second book in a series. I have already read this one, and it's Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. I read this last year in 2018. I need to read the third book in the series, but in this series we follow Fitz, who is the bastard son of the prince regent, I don't know, the prince, who then dies, and Fitz becomes the king's assassin. So we kind of follow him. The first book is almost like a coming of age. This one just continues his story, and the third one will continue it even further. So those are my 600 books. Now, the biggest stack actually that I have here is my books that are in the 700 range. A number of these are actually mass market paperbacks. I don't own tons of mass market paperbacks, but I do have a few, and they tend to be bigger just because the page size is smaller. Most of the stack is actually fantasy as well, and I haven't read some of them. But the first one, coming in at 722, is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I'm not sure when, if ever, I'll get to this one. We follow Kavoth, I think is his name, kind of through his younger years in this one. It's almost like him telling his memoir. Fantasy, very popular. However, it's been years since the third one. People are waiting for the third book to come out in this series, and it's been years. So I'm not that eager to pick this up because I would hate to get into the middle of a series and want the next book and it not be there. So it's here for someday. Next is a book that I have read, and it's 734 pages, and it's The Goblet of Fire by Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. Ooh, when I did the Do I Have That Book challenge, I should have used J.K. Rowling for my initials. Some of you pointed that out to me because my initials are KJR. This is JKR. So I was very close, and I didn't even think of it. So yes. I've read Harry Potter twice, which isn't many times compared to some people here, but I love it. It's very fun. I got these gorgeous hardcover editions from a library book sale for $2 a piece, so I spent $14 on the whole set of these gorgeous editions. Fantastic. 743 pages is my next biggest book, and that is the second book in the Outlander series, Dragonfly in Amber. And I don't know anything about this except that it continues on Jamie and Claire's story. This is out on my series shelf. I do hope to pick it up in 2019. We'll see. It's a big one. I mean, all of these are big. That's kind of the point of this video, but yeah, it's a big one. This was the first Farseer book, The Assassin's Quest. Oh no, this is the third one. Excuse me. This is the one that is out on my shelf. This is the one that I need to read next. It continues on with Fitz's story, and this had, what did I say? 757 pages. So it's a chunker. They do read pretty quickly from what I remember of the first two, but it's coming up on a year now since I started the trilogy. I should just finish it. It would be nice to finish it and have it done. Robin Hobb is fantastic though. I really enjoy her fantasy writing. All right, 759 pages is the last book in the Harry Potter series. It's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Don't need to say much about these books, but yeah, they get pretty big at the end. It's a brick. The final book in the Mistborn series is also the next one that I need to read. It has 760 pages, and in this one we follow Vin, who is a Mistborn. This is the third book in a series, so I can't tell you very much about it, but there's a really unique magic system in these books where you ingest, the people who have this magic ability ingest metals and can use those different metals for different superpowers, like different abilities that they give them. And some people can ingest certain metals, but Mistborns can ingest all the metals and use them. And Vin is a Mistborn. And yeah, we just follow her through this political revolution type stuff. Very interesting, very good. I'm loving it, but just slow in finishing it up. So I do need to read that one, hopefully this year. Another book that I have no clue when I'm ever going to get to it. It has 771 pages, and it's The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I am currently reading The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and that one always appealed to me much more than this one. I believe this one has to do with art, and it's historical a little bit. Yeah, I'm not really sure what this is about, but It won a Pulitzer Prize. Why do I say that? It won a Pulitzer Prize. How do you say that? Pulitzer or Pulitzer? I'd be curious to know. Anyways, it won that. So I would like to read it someday, maybe. But it's huge. Huge. And almost 800 pages at 796 is the second book in the Mistborn series, The Well of Ascension. And I read this last fall. So it's been a while. I need to finish this series. But I did really enjoy this one. And it's a big chunker. All right, we are moving on. Now I'm into my 800 pages or more books. And here's another mass market paperback fantasy that I'm not sure when I'll ever read. It has 814 pages, and it's the first in a massive series by Robert Jordan called what's the series called? Wheel of Time. It's called the Wheel of Time series, and this is the first one, The Eye of the World. It's huge. Two of my brothers have read the series and absolutely love it. A number of my cousins have read it. Of course, all the guy cousins. I don't know if any of my girl cousins have read it, but I know there are a ton of women on here who love these books. I have no nostalgia attached to them because I don't remember my parents reading them when I was young. I don't know. And I think there's 14 or 15 or 17. There's a ton of books in this series, and they're all chunkers. So I picked up the first one because it was really cheap at a library sale or somewhere. And it's huge, but it's here. If I ever decide it's time to start the Wheel of Time series, it's here. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? I certainly don't know. This next one does have some nostalgia. It's 818 pages, and it's The Book of Virtues by William J. Bennett. Now, this is like a treasury of short stories and fables and poetry, all kind of separated out by different virtues like responsibility and compassion and self-discipline and perseverance and courage. My family had one of these books when I was younger, and my dad would read these to us kind of in the evenings or at nighttime. I really love this. I don't ever open it, but I have it, and I'm really thrilled that I have it. Someday, should I ever have kids, this would be something that we would read together. Obviously not cover to cover, but we would read from this together. I love it. Love it, love it. A new book that I just recently hauled has 860 pages, and it is Edward Rutherford's New York. And I did learn that he has quite a few other ones, Paris, London, some of the major cities. So I am not sure when I'll ever get to this, but it's historical fiction all about New York City and how it started and history of it. I'm not sure how personal it gets. Like, do we follow a family, or is it just kind of more of an overview of the city? I'm not sure the setup of the structure of it, but I have heard positive things about Edward Rutherford as a historical fiction author. So again, not sure when I'm going to get to it, but I have been to New York many times. I grew up in New York State, quite far from the city, but that's the one that I would probably want to read the most because I have the most background information about New York. So we'll see. This book I'm in the middle of right now, quite literally the middle. This is 870 pages, and it's Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I don't love this translation. It's different from the audiobook that I'm listening to, which is kind of frustrating because I can't read them together, which usually helps me. I am right here, so I'm just almost halfway. I'm not quite to halfway yet. I should be done in this because I started with a group on Instagram that was Anna K in 8. We were going to read, there are 8 sections, and we were going to read one section each week starting in March, and here we are at the end of April, and I'm still in part 4. So quite a ways behind, but I'm gonna keep plugging away. This is gonna happen this year, and it might take me a long time, but it's gonna happen. Oh yeah, I just filmed my May TBR and I did not put this on it. Oh well, it's gonna keep happening. You'll see it. You'll see it popping up here and there. All right, the last Harry Potter book that is humongo is 870 pages, and it's The Order of the Phoenix. This is book 5. It's, for a long time, was one of my least favorites, but has grown on me. The second time I read Harry Potter series, I listened to it, and I really enjoyed Jim Dale's narration. So good. I highly recommend the audiobooks of it. Okay, we are almost to the end. It's exciting. 896 pages is another book that I'm not sure when I'll ever get to, but it's Middlemarch by George Eliot. Obviously, March would be the time to read this book, but March is middle grade March for me, and this is not going to happen during middle grade March. It's just too big. Almost 900 pages. It's a classic. I have no clue about the readability of this one. Classics just still, even though there are some classics I absolutely love, there's something about them that still intimidates me a bit. And so I definitely would not want to pick up a classic of this size during middle grade March. So someday I'll get to this. I will probably buddy read it with somebody because that will help, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen. Who knows? And then my final 3 books, 2 of them are in the 900 range, and one of them is over 1,000 pages, and they're all in the same trilogy. It's a trilogy of books. Can you guess what it is before I show you? Can you guess? Dun, 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 dun. It's the Century Trilogy they're so heavy. It is the Century Trilogy by Ken Follett. They're out of order because they're in the order of shortest to longest. So Column of Fire is the 3rd book. It's actually the shortest. Pillars of the Earth is the 1st book. It's in the middle. And then World Without End is the one that I need to read next. And it's the longest. Let me tell you their page counts. So coming in at 909 is A Column of Fire. And this is the 3rd and final in the trilogy. Yikes. Humongo. Then we have at 973, Pillars of the Earth. Now the thing is, it was 973 pages, but I found it so compelling that I really flew through this book. So opposite of, say, East of Eden, which was barely 600 pages, which was a dread to pick up every time. I think I read through this in about 2 weeks or less because I just couldn't put it down, and it was such a page turner. I just mentioned this in my favorites kind of since starting BookTube, and I just need to clarify. Something I did not mention is it's pretty brutal. It does take place in the Middle Ages, and there are some scenes in here, including scenes of rape, that are horrifying to read. And I just wanted to say that because that's not something that I typically read. And so those of you who may want to pick this up based on my recommendation, I just need to warn you, there are some scenes in here that were very, very difficult to read, and obviously not something that I condone. And just because of the just because of the time it was written, and also life was just very brutal at that time. So there's like an animal fight between a dog and a bear. That was just so difficult to read, and I'm not an animal person, so if you were, that would be really difficult. Just little things like that were just a little much. So I just need to put that warning out there. I should have done it on the other video. I apologize if you picked this up already and you're like, whoa, Krista, what are you talking about? And finally, the biggest book on my shelves is 1,014 pages, and it is World Without End, which is the 2nd book in the trilogy. So I'm not sure even where it's going to pick up. I don't think it's decades. I think it's hundreds of years following the events of Pillars of the Earth, maybe in the same place. So still England, British history. But yeah, it's a chunkamunka. And this is on my pile for this year. I just don't know. I don't know. But there you have it, folks. I really enjoy taking a look at my shelves this way. I think this is going to be a fun series to kind of highlight different sections and different types of books that I have on my shelves. If you have ideas of topics or things that you would like to see me pull out from my shelves, go ahead and comment that down below. I know some of you are going to say Christian fiction and clean romances because you've already told me I've got those on my list already. But if there are any other areas or topics or ideas of shelf spotlights that you would like to see, go ahead and comment down below. If you've read any of these and you think, Krista, that is a page turner, you're going to fly through it even though it's a monster, let me know that as well. I love chatting with you in the comments, so I can't wait to see what you've got to say. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be talking to you in another video very soon. Bye!